Hello, hello, it's Mark Atwood here, the Mark Atwood Show, Adventures in a Cosmic Suit. Well, as the world is awakening at last, it's quite strange, isn't it? We just had Rupert Lowe yesterday launching Restore Britain, and there was a queue in his launch video. Andrew Bridgen just posted a video on X this morning saying he's very pleased and he's behind it, but warning that Starmer will commit political suicide and fall to his masters. My take on it is that we are watching a scripted movie play out that we're all part of. And if you are just waking up to the stuff that's been thrown out in the Epstein files, then welcome. We've been waiting for you, and you're very welcome here. But you need to dig a little bit deeper, because what you're seeing might not be making much sense. In fact, you might be thinking, how is it possible that human beings can do this to children? It's a question I pondered for years and years and years. And the only conclusion you can come to is that they're not human. You sound like a conspiracy theorist. Yes, I do. If you're new to my channel, I suggest you go and take a look at a video I did a couple of weeks ago, which was called Orion versus Humanity, the Real War We're In, Part 1, with Ryushin Malone. Now, when I did this video, I've actually interviewed Ryushin a couple of times before, a couple of years ago, and I came across his work about 5 years ago, I think, maybe 6 years ago. And, everything is divine timing. Everything that I've tried to do on this channel has always been led by timing. And I reached out to him a few weeks ago and said, dude, how you doing? Do you want to come on? And he's got a lot more updates. He's been working his nuts off for nearly a decade on the information that you can find here. And you'll see in the comments under this video are interesting. This guy might sound crazy, but I'm pretty sure he's right about almost everything. Usually these people who are telling the real truth disappear or end up in a mental hospital or on medication. It's true. There's a lot of people. I was actually thinking this morning, the number of people that I've personally known that have died in the last 5 years, who didn't get to see this through. And it's quite heartbreaking, actually, because my greatest wish is that everybody that's been in this fight for truth actually sees us successful at the end of all of this. And I think we are successful in a multi-dimensional sense, but we're watching it play out in our 3D reality. So it is my strong opinion that people like Ryushin need to be listened to, because he's done a huge amount of work that a lot of us haven't had the time or haven't been chosen to do. And that's what I think you're going to see here. And before I bring him on, I just want to make sure that you're all aware of this website, which is called theorionlines.com, which is here. And this is it's an extraordinary website because it contains all of his work, and you should definitely download this book that was just updated this morning, The Orion Lines, The Truth About Extraterrestrials. And while you're there, make sure you donate, because this guy does all of this because he has to, and for the benefit of all of us. So please welcome Ryushin Malone. How you doing?
Hey, Mark. Thank you so much for having me here today. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure, even though you've had a big do-over.
Yeah, I've got a big makeover, but got a
That's good. It's a positive thing.
Excited with a red, but that's okay. So yeah, these times have been very enlightening for people. People are waking up to the reality that we have been being lied to, and about the truth, and the truth is alarming and disturbing. It's very serious, very, very serious. But I understand, after researching it for the past decade, what's going on here and why this is all happening, and what's really happening behind the scenes that people are totally unaware of. Yes, it has to do with the extraterrestrials, but it also has to do with religion, God and the devil. So I'm a Zen Buddhist teacher. I've been practicing since the age of 16. I've done about almost 3 years of monastic training, just sitting in stillness and breathing, and aligning the body to connect to the earth, as well as the, if you want to call it, Holy Spirit, which is all around us. It's in Buddhism we call it our true nature, which is fundamentally shunyata, fundamentally emptiness. Now, what has come to light is that nothing, by definition, does not exist. And since nothing cannot exist, what is left is existence, which means we are all of existence. It means we are the universe inside of us. We are all of existence. And it means that we are you. And and everything's connected in reality, unbeknownst to everyone, because we've been lied to and we've been subverted. So anyway, this is the story that needs to get up into the book, okay? Thousands of years ago, a group of extraterrestrials showed up here, and they manipulated the monkey. And you can obviously see that through the experiments of the many different prototypes to human being. There was something like 67 adjustments to create the human being. We were created, and by God, what everybody's been worshiping. Yes, God. Now, the story isn't exactly as... Now, did this God create the universe? I don't know. But I know for sure that they created human beings, because we were designed and created as containers of the soul. The soul is actually real. The soul is our personality, our everything. The soul is actually a karmic recording device that records every instance of your life. Everyone, anyone who's a human being, their lifetime is completely recorded by the soul, karmic soul recording. So that when you die, which there is no death, and I know this all sounds crazy, but it's absolutely true, and I have all the evidence. I'll prove it to you. And so the soul, after death, there is no death, but after you die, your soul is taken up to the fifth density, and your soul is examined and gone through every instant of your life, and you are judged by Christ's consciousness, who's in charge of the book of life. I've seen it. It's about 3 feet wide, and it has edges that curve into the center. But the edges curve, and it's like a glass book with every instant of your life in like... Have you ever seen the when you're at the diner and you flip through the radio, for music, the jukebox? Mm-hmm. When you flip through it like that, that's exactly how this thing looks. It's like almost like a holographic reality, the fifth density. I call it the spiritual realm. There are multiple dimensions past the fifth density, but it is a reality. It's true. There is a fifth density where both God and the devil rule over. They work together. And they're kind of like, and they make deals between each other. But not only are good human beings up in the fifth density playing the chess game that you've heard, the fifth density chess game, which is actually a magic, because magic is actually extraterrestrial. But not only are there good white magicians and witches, but there are also black magicians and warlocks and witches, and they work together in a group. Now, the satanic side views themselves as, well, it's empty, and this is all a dream, don't worry about it, nothing is really real. But the white side goes, wait a minute, nothing by definition does not exist. So since nothing cannot exist, what is left is existence, which means we are all of existence. So your actions, your karma, creates vipaka, which is a cause and effect. And these two work together and against each other. It's a chess game. It's a fifth dimensional chess game. And this is happening because Satan is also a fifth dimensional being who rules over hell. And what happens is God and the devil made a deal 6,000 years ago. It's called something called Night First. Night First is the agreement to keep everybody in the dark about what's really going on here and why this is all happening. Is that our soul, we are here, this is a test. We're here to be tested. Can we, whatever we do in life is recorded, and then it's all gone through and you are judged. And based on your judgment, you either are entered to heaven, go with Draco, who is Saturn or Satan, to hell, or be reincarnated. And considering that the truth is now revealed, this is the final judgment. So anyway, what happened was God created human beings as containers for the soul. Not only this, but they also created us as a workforce to mine gold for them. Why? Because they needed the gold to build their Dyson sphere spaceship around their planet, to encompass their planet, to create an atmosphere for their planet. These beings are the Anunnaki. Now, they are helped by other gods who are actually these super powerful extraterrestrial beings with incredible technology, including fifth dimensional technology like the Book of Life, like magic wands, like the acoustic record, which is like almost like a timeline of all these competing species throughout the universe who it's constantly changing because they all have time manipulation. And that's what this is. They knew that this time would come because everything's already happened. Our lifetime, we live this moment to moment. This moment right now is the present moment. But having technology that allows these beings to see in the past and the future changes the nature of reality, our understanding of the nature of reality. We are no longer, with the technology, we are no longer restricted to this moment-to-moment being, but we are moment-to-moment in any and every moment, changing our understanding of the nature of reality. So we're not just in this moment now, we're in all moments, which means that a public announcement needs to be made. Okay, everybody, we have the ability to look into the future and change the future. We have to create something called the present moment, which is the acknowledgement that to everyone that we have this technology, that this will bring the entire universe to us, declaring that there is a present moment now. But this has to be done in a public form, like the whole group of the world has to know that we have this technology, that we're able to see into the future and the past and manipulate it to, and that's what this evil side has been doing. So it's not only the good side had this technology for thousands of years. That's what all these secret societies are all about. This is the big secret between God and the devil. They've been working together in a balance, right? That's what this is. It's a balance. Good and evil, both working together in a balance. I've disrupted the balance by revealing the book, the evidence in the book. So what happened was when they created us, after they created us, the Anunnaki and who is God, who is actually Luna, who is the moon goddess. So I've discovered that's her name. That's the true name of God. And I've met with her. She is the true God. I mean, she said that. I'm like, who are you? She's like, I'm God, Ryushin, I'm God. So, and what she was doing in front of me in the fifth density, it was clear that she was in charge here. And, and I know it sounds nuts, but it's absolutely true. And What happened was the Draco, who is Satan, and Moloch, who is from Orion, okay, Draco and Orion, who work in the Orion group, showed up here, took over the show. And the God and the devil have been at war with each other for thousands of years until they made a deal. They went, hey, let's make a deal. We'll call it night first. Allow the people to live like there's nothing going on around here, to believe in God and that the devil is real. That's fine. But it's up to that person to make these decisions on their own, to then be judged after we die. But to keep everybody in the dark about this, to not tell the absolute truth that there are actually extraterrestrial beings ruling over us for thousands of years with great technology, including fifth dimensional technology, spiritual realm, spiritual technology. That's what I call it. So they got into a war, they made a deal, and that's what we've been living in for the past 6,000 years until the truth was revealed, that they've been harvesting, they've been using us as a resource. So the deal was Draco and Orion could rule over humanity, and in the background, God would just take up souls, and they were both ruling over us. But now that Draco, Satan is revealed with the Orion group, night is over. And night will end when everybody finds out the truth. And I can talk about it until I'm blue in the face for the past 9 years, and that doesn't do anything. But this is the truth, and I collected all the evidence, and it's compassion and evidence which will free humanity. Morality, the truth. What is the truth? Well, the truth is true no matter what, no matter who says it is, and how do you prove the truth? Compassion and evidence. And so let's get into it, shall we?
Yes.
Yes, God and the devil are real. Heaven and hell is real. And they've been working together in something called the balance, unbeknownst to us. And these elites have been working together until they were all exposed. The satanic side was exposed, allowing this positive side, the God side, with Jesus and the Holy Spirit, the real God, Luna, were allowed to come in and start taking over. And that's what we've been doing. And it's very complicated because it involves time travel and time manipulation. And for a very long time, we've been secretly ruled over mostly by the satanic Orion group for the past 6,000 years, until I revealed them with revealing the Nazi death marches and the deep underground military bases being identical in shape of Orion and size, 300 miles across, which means that they were trading human beings for technology all this time. And they used taxpayer money to pay for it. So that's what I revealed, and that's what I figured out, and that's what's in my book. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate this.
No, it's cool. I'm just going to let you speak, and you guys watching, just keep an open mind. Here we go.
Yeah, this is very serious. This is very complicated, and I don't care if you believe me or not. All I care about is telling the truth, no matter what, no matter in the face of death. I have to tell the truth. This is the truth. And how do you tell the truth? Compassion and evidence. So tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. And that's what this is. So for 37 years, I was only aware of the Holy Spirit being real, our true nature. And sitting Buddhism and doing all that stuff, that's my father and me. In Japan, we were at Sogenji, Okayama-shi, Japan, and that's where I was doing some of my training. My father came out and sat with me to support the practice of Zazen, which is the connection to spirituality through breathing and alignment and focusing on your physical to aligning your mind and your body to absorb. That's what Zen literally means, to absorb, to sit in absorption, or zazen. So anyway, next. That symbol is the symbol of victory over war. And that's victory over war of the ego. Victory over the war with the ego. And next is my symbol, which means dragon, because my name is Ryushin, and it's dragon heart. That's what my name is. Next. Okay, so like I said, I was teaching Zen Buddhism for a year, 2016, 2017, and I had my own studio that I was borrowing from a karate master, and he allowed me to sit here every Wednesday and Sunday mornings, and we do about 2 hours, and it was very concerning because not many people were showing up. You know, people that are busy, they have to go to work, they have to, do, they're busy, they don't have time for spirituality. And what I figured out with the whole alien thing, well, the satanic side has been keeping us from reaching our spiritual true nature. So anyway, I was sitting there one day, and all of a sudden I felt a touch under my chin, and my head went up, and I looked down, and there was a being in front of me that was translucent with black eyes, and another one stepped around the side of it holding a stick, and it pressed it up against my neck, and then it let go and disappeared. The other one dropped my head, it stepped backwards and then disappeared, and I was like, okay. So I went home and freaked out, and I was like, oh my God, what's going on? These things are real. What's going on? So I started researching it, and a week later, the Nazca alien mummies were released. Next. And I knew they were real from the x-rays. And a week after that, I connected them to King Akhenaten, Queen Nefertiti. And I realized that we were being lied to about how these beings were being called their children, and that's not true. They're not children. They're actually, what I figured out was that they're actually God's angels. And I believe that they are the Anunnaki, and that God works works with them, and they do God's work. And they're also cherubs. This is what a cherub looks like, ladies and gentlemen. A cherub, like Cupid. This is what they really look like. So I realized that they were engraved identical to what they actually look like, which is very uncommon, and this is very significant. And the true symbol of God is actually the light, which is actually their vehicle, the golden sphere, the Dyson sphere that contains their planet. The light emanating from below it in strands with the hands is just like the Buddha symbol, with the Buddha with many arms and one mind. It's exactly like this, which means that they are enlightened beings. They're spiritually awake to their true nature, which is emptiness, but nothing does not, by definition, does not exist. And since nothing does not exist, what is left is existence. We are all of existence. The hands, and this is the true symbol of God, the circle with the light emanating below it. All right, next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is going to take some time. So this is what really is the most significant discovery I've ever made. Aside from that connection, this discovery, the realization that the Nazi death marches were built in the shape of Orion, the star constellation Orion. And half of it is there, and that's the deal. They can only do so much. They can only give you, that's the spiritual deal. And it's like the spiritual deal that's between God and the devil. That's why they call this the silent war. I'm the only human being who can speak the truth with the evidence in the silent war. They all know what I have. Nobody else on the earth knows what I have, what this means. This means that extraterrestrials are real, that the whole Zionists who built the Nazi death, Rothschild and his friends, tricked Hitler, and they lied to him or whatever, but they put all this money into building those railroads in the shape of Orion to honor Orion, because who is Orion? Orion is Moloch. Moloch is Orion. Okay, Satan is Draco, and they work together. So Moloch is a demon, a child eater. She's also called Lameshtitu. She has many names, many names. I think Baal is Satan. Allah, yes, Allah is Satan. Allah and the whole Muslim religion, they walk around something in Mecca with a black cube. Yeah, that's Saturn's cube. That's actually what Satan's vehicle looks like, a black cube. They've been worshiping Satan. They don't even know it, but that's what they've been worshiping. It's Satan's vehicle, the black cube. Saturn, Satan, Draco, Alpha Draconian. They're 15-foot tall lizards. They're extremely powerful, extremely intelligent, and enlightened. But on the opposite polarity, they're of the negative side of the balance. Now, what's really going on out in the universe is that it's basically like a yin-yang. That's what's going on. There are good beings and there are evil beings, and it's like a yin-yang. And it's extremely complicated, but that's what's going on out there. Us on Earth, we're totally unaware of what's going on here. But that's what's going on here. And that's where all the missing children have been going, and why Epstein was doing all that child rape and child eating, and they've been eating children. Yes, that's been happening everywhere. It's not just Epstein's Island. No, that's been happening everywhere. There's Satan worshipers everywhere. There's Satan worshipers who are lying to the people left and right. Even in the news and the UFO and the everything, these Satan worshipers, they're all in reverse. Everything is opposite. So they lie, and they have to lie. And some of these people have made deals with Satan and selling their soul to the devil. Have you ever heard that one? Yeah, well, it turns out that it's true because it's real. God and the devil are real. Heaven and hell are real. Now, just because they're extraterrestrials, I do not want to destabilize the structure that human beings need. They just, this is just a further understanding of it, of the dynamics of reality. But I do not mean to destabilize the structure to God and the devil, but both are real. And I think that it's very important to be aware that both are real. It just so happens to be that, well, they're super powerful, ancient. So they've been living for thousands and thousands of years with their technology in a spiritual realm. But that's what's going on here. So anyway, look, figured out Rothschild and the Zionists have been worshiping Moloch this whole time, even in Egypt. And I believe that this whole thing, the Holocaust, was actually revenge for when Moses led the Jews out of Egypt under Orion rule, because the Egyptian pyramids aligned to Orion's belt. This is Orion group, the aliens from Orion, who've been using us as a food source and a resource, and took over, 3,000 years before Moses. Yeah, Sumerian to Moses. And Moses, with God's help, the gigantic golden sphere, moved the water with their technology and understanding, moved the water and allowed the Jews to escape under Moloch's rule, and then destroyed the army, and then was given the 10 Commandments, and then created Israel with God's protection. The real God are the ones who created us. Now, and I don't know if they created all of the universe or not, but all I can tell you based on the evidence is that they created us, which means that they are God, the creators. Okay, so anyway, as for revenge, 2,000 years later, Oh, Rothschild is in charge. He's in charge of the entire thing. He is known as the Pinder, or the pinnacle of the Draco, or penis of the dragon, who is a dragon, the Draco, Satan, Saturn. That's where everybody's money's been going. That's Rothschild. That's his position. He's the patriarch of this whole monetary system. So he put all this money into Germany. Germany stood up real quick and was super powerful right after World War One. And they learned by doing World War One. They learned, wow, we can get all these scientists together, and they can start, we can dump all this money into research and development, and that's what happened. They were researching. They were playing both sides.
Mm-hmm.
They all have been. They're just the rich versus the rich, but they do a dollar deal, and then they have a war, and then, just to see who wins the dollar, But anyway, so that's what allowed them to stand up after World War One so quick. They dumped all that money in there, and I think it was to actually use Germany as a doorstop to stop the spread of Russia into Europe. I think that's why they dumped money into there. But anyway, they had Hitler rise up, and he was talking about God, the real God, our creator, and all this. But the Zionists were in there too, and they dumped all that money into building these railroads in the shape of Orion. And they somehow convinced Hitler to sacrifice the Jews, the real Jews that were helped by Moses. Yeah. The others who were left behind in Egypt became the Zionists. That's why they hate the Jews. But it's just like this. In America, there's Christianity and there's Satanism. Okay? In Judea, over in Israel, there's Jews who worship the same God the Christians do here. Yes, our creator, the ones who created us. They worship the same God. Jesus, the Holy Spirit, yes. But over there, the Zionists are also Satan worshipers. That's what's going on here. That's why, after revealing the whole Orion thing, Israel had to be like, whoa, we have to, God said that she would protect the real Jews if they were, and that's what's going on. That's why Trump is helping Israel. That's why all these people at the UN got up and left when the prime minister of Israel got up there and started speaking, because he turned against the Draco, because I think he's part of Orion. These two can sometimes come to conflict with each other because they're two different species. One's the reptilians, the other one's the Greys, Moloch and the Greys. See, it's very, very complicated. But in any event, what I figured out was after World War II, the Americans realized, holy shit, they've been living here in Antarctica. And they had Admiral Byrd take the entire Pacific Fleet down there and get his ass kicked. And he came back, and he was open mouthed. The whole thing. He was talking, the whole thing for about 2 weeks until they shut him down. Told him the truth. This is what's going on. We have to wait until a certain time for when somebody comes along, reveals the truth out in the open, then we can react to this satanic side who's been living here. That's part of the deal. So that's why they kept it all quiet. And so the military made a deal with these beings back in 53, 54. They made a deal because they were under this contract. The aliens were under this contract with the other aliens saying that, well, this is night first. We get to use you as a resource. And the military was like, okay. And they built the deep underground military bases in the heart of America, these secret deep underground military bases in the shape of Orion to, again, honor Orion, because the Zionists have been behind this whole thing. And they built it identical in shape and size, 300 miles across. Both are 300 miles across, which means that the map on the left is true because they're both 300 miles across.
Mm-hmm.
They were setting us up for an alien invasion known as Agenda 21. And when I revealed this enabled the good side to intervene. And the Pentagon sent in the military into Area 51 and took it over December 7th, 2018. And I knew that information was true. It was something like somebody came out and said, oh my God, there's unprecedented amount of activity at Area 51. Lizard people coming out of the ground. And I was like, what? Lizard people, huh? And I took that piece of evidence and I held on to it. And I was like, okay, wow, that's interesting information. Well, 12 days later, the All-Seeing Eye, which is a gigantic tetrahedron-shaped craft. It's a gigantic pyramid, a black pyramid, showed up over the Pentagon at 4:30 a.m. And we have 3 different perspectives of it, but I knew what that was. I knew exactly what it was. Well, because they took over Area 51, that probably pissed off the fucking aliens. So when I saw that there, I was like, oh, the aliens are there because of this was true. See how this works? Because the information that came out 12 days earlier was true. So the Pentagon pyramid, that's what it's called. You can hashtag it. Showed up December 19th, 2018. And that at that same time is the same time that they pulled me up into the 5th dimension and had about a 3-week journey of the 5th dimension, and it was the most intense experience I've ever had in my life. And it even drove me to the point of getting kicked out of my house and living homeless because it was so intense for me. I was in a different reality experiencing. I can't even begin to explain what I was experiencing, but it was so intense and so dynamic, and they shut me off. They're like, all right, well, we're going to shut it down and go away. Just to let you know, this is happening. This is what's going on out here in the spiritual dimension. I'm like, holy shit. So I was left to my own devices for the past 7 years, and finally came up with the rest of this book, which is the key to all my evidence is here, which is in reality our evidence, because we are all of existence. So anyway, this is a big problem for us. This means that the military has been working to help the aliens, and what they were feeding the aliens down there were human beings. They've been eating us. The aliens have been using us as a resource, a food resource, and they drink blood. They torture people. They torture people to produce something called loosh, which is also called steam. Steam comes out of the body. It's actually the soul. And these evil beings have been sitting around after torturing a victim for an hour until death to absorb the steam that's being released from the soul. Spiritual demons. That's what these beings are. They're spiritual demons. They just so happen to be extraterrestrials. But super powerful, enlightened demons. That's what this is. And it's extremely intense, and the whole Galactic Federation is about to come down. And that's what's going on with the whole Trump thing and this whole 9 years since Pizzagate happened. Remember Pizzagate? What a joke. Yeah, I remember. I was right there in 2017 going, what the fuck is this? But yeah, that's what got me involved with this whole thing and the alien thing. But what really turned me on was the fact that when Q said, oh, looking forward to look behind, go back, Project Looking Glass. And when I saw that, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. He's talking about the Looking Glass. He's talking about quantum temporal time viewing device. I'm like, holy shit, they're using time travel. This whole thing is a time manipulation. Yeah. So it's not just God and the devil manipulating the timeline here. It's also humanity, the evil side and the good side. You see, both sides have been in a temporal war with each other. It's insane. It's really insane. It's so nuts because quantum dynamics is so complicated. It boggles my mind to think that, okay, so God has beings that are coming down and working. I call them time tailors, where they can come in and out, and that's how they created human beings. I mean, They got out, they adjusted a monkey, and then they jumped in their ship, traveled 1,000 years, got out, adjusted the monkey, and did the whole process 67 times in about, however long it took them, maybe a day. And that's what's been going on here. And that's what they've been doing. They've been time tailoring. But it's not just the God side that time tailors. It's also the evil, demonic beings that have been time tailoring too. The war between God and the devil. And then you have the human side on the human realm with the human beings and half reptilian, half human. That's the Canaanites. That's from Draco. They're more reptilian than human. It's a long story. Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel and all that. So anyway, but I don't want to get into that right now. See, I've been researching this. I've been studying this very carefully. Why is this happening? What is the truth? Is this true or not? And it's taken me this long to get to this point. So there's a lot of information. I mean, I can go on for hours and hours and hours, but I really don't want to keep you guys. I want to tell you the truth. You need to know the truth. And that's my mission, to tell the truth at all costs, including my own life. Okay? They've ignored me for the past 9 years. I knew they knew what I had. How could you ignore what I have? 9 years. The whole satanic and the God, the Freemasons and the Illuminati. See, everybody thinks that the Freemasons are evil. No, they've just been working hand in hand with the Satan worshipers to do this balance thing. The Freemasons are good. Even the good side inverts things. Because they wanted to see, okay, can someone come along, a true-hearted human being, with truth and evidence, and explain the situation to the rest of the humanity? That's been the deal. That's been their agreement. Okay, let's just see if somebody can come along and tell the truth without being told the truth, just from using their own compassion, their own heart, to see if this is true or not. And that's what I did this whole time. 9 years of sitting here going, okay, is this true or not? Is this true here? I didn't need some asshole, in the news desk telling me what's true or not. I need to ask right here, is this true or not? And this is the result of that. I did it for myself, which is all of us. It's not me. I didn't do it for me. I mean, donations would be nice, helpful, but this information the world needs to know. That we've been secretly being ruled over by an evil group of extraterrestrials who were living here and using us as a resource. And I don't agree with that. And a lot of things are going to happen. The storm, that's about to happen. Where people start getting arrested for doing all this evil bullshit that I've helped expose. So anyway, let's continue on, shall we? I know I really didn't get into the book very much, but these are the Nazca lines. I got into them. I thought I saw Orion in them, so I really spent a lot of time working on this. What the Nazca lines are actually a star map of the Orion group's territory markings, or somebody's territory markings. You see, the thing that really tripped me up was that this map you see is only a 30th of the entire map. So I spent about a year going, why can't I figure this out? Why can't I figure this out? Until I went to Google and I looked at the entire, surface of the Nazca lines and saw that in the entirety, it's about, this is a small fraction of what they put out. And it's UNESCO. Yeah. You see all the World Heritage Site, UNESCO, all these groups, all these companies, all these have been keeping this a secret from you and lying to us to keep us enslaved and used as a resource. They didn't want to tell anybody, but they had to put out information to be like, okay, this is kind of the truth. You see a little bit of it, and that's why this is a 30th, and the last map was only half of the Orion. It's only half. They can only show you a little bit, but then all right, continue on. Next. So I worked on it. That's what I came up with. I saw Orion in it, but I was wrong until I saw the rest of the map. Next, the rest of the ground, which happened to be, it is an Orion. So that's the entire map and the structure, and that white map is just a very small piece of it. But what they are they are territory markings of pulsar and constellations. That's what they are. Next. Pulsars, like the one on the NASA Voyager spacecraft. That's what they are. Now I can't read them exactly which stars they are because it's so complex. Their territory spans incredible feet, incredible distance. Next. Thank you for doing this, Mark. I really appreciate it. And I know it sounds crazy to a lot of people out there, but I assure you,
I think it needs to get out.
I'm very close, and you don't have to believe me, but I'm not 100% on everything, but you can see where I'm going with this. I mean, I've got some insight into this being this appears to be true to me. So there's pulsar star map. It's their territory map to allow other extraterrestrials who show up here to go, stay away. That's what that is. That's what the Nazca lines are. Next.
It's a warning sign.
It's a warning sign, yeah. They're territory markings for other extraterrestrials when they show up here, go, oh, shit, that's the Orion group, gotta go. Yeah, it's a warning route. It's a warning sign. So you can see, as you can see, the pyramids align to Orion's belt, which is not only does the pyramids in Egypt align to Orion's belt, but almost every single pyramid in the world aligns to Orion's belt, including the Pentagon's Air Force Memorial behind the Pentagon, and the Washington Monument Memorial aligns to Draco, Thurbon, and Draco star system. So let's see here. The World Trade Center also aligns to the Orion's belt, which is it's an homage to Orion, Moloch, and the Orion group and the Greys. Next. Yeah, that's something I was just messing with. I don't think that's correct. Next. See, there's some things that I'm like, I don't know. All right, Alpha Draconian, Orion group. Now, from the evidence that I have, I knew that the Orion group was true, which means that with everything else that I was seeing, this Ascension glossary was actually telling the truth, because I had the evidence to yes, the Orion group is real. They're here. Yes, Draco is real, which means that, and they've been evil and doing this satanic shit. Well, whoever put up this information was actually telling the truth. Next. And there's pulsars all over the place. Next. That's in Hawaii, and that's the Stonehenge in America, which is also has an altar for blood sacrifice, just like the next slide. Next. The Stonehenge. They have the slaughter stone and the heel stone. And the heel stone was a time dilate, but it's not to measure, yes, it's to measure solstice and all that stuff, but primarily because there's a heel stone was to let the people know, the Druids know exactly when the aliens were going to show up, to bring all those people there and sacrifice all those people. And the whole reason why it was destroyed and rebuilt was because somebody back there figured out what was going on, knew that they were taking people there, torturing them, sacrificing them to this god who was showing up, who they probably saw while they were in the woods going, holy shit, what the fuck is that? Look at that, look. And they went and they told everybody, and they went back to Stonehenge and they destroyed it. Hence why the elite rebuilt it in 1901. That's what all the cement there is for, but why rebuild that? That's why. Because it's an homage to Orion. What we didn't know was that they were actually worshiping these alien beings who were coming down. Next, and I'm going to start going quick here, but this is the third one. The aliens did that. They aligned that structure to say to other people, and that's why Satanism is really big in England and Europe. In Europe, because these people have been worshiping these beings for thousands of years. But the truth is that, well, yep, they're God, they're the devil, yes, but they're extraterrestrial beings, which means that we are one. We are the same. Yes, God is in a more significant place than I or anyone else who knows the truth about existence, which is shunyata, which in turn, nothing by definition does not exist. What is left is existence, which means we are all of existence. But she has been working to help us, going through our souls, weighing the whole soul thing with a feather in the heart. Yeah, that's what Jesus does. That's what they're doing up there. They're actually weighing, was this human being a good human being or not? Was his heart as light as a feather? That's what they're doing. And so this is why this was important to me, because I was telling the truth from the heart. And it was that easy. So anyway, this is all over the world. They all align to Orion, which means that the aliens were probably coming down everywhere to have themselves worshipped and have people be brought there and sacrificed and tortured. And that's what they've been doing at all these sites. They were torturing human beings to produce and raping women and children and all kinds of evil to honor these evil satanic beings who were wanting them to do this. They wanted to cannibalize these people. And yeah, eat up. This is great entertainment. That's what these evil aliens have been doing. They've been watching over us going, yeah, this is so much fun. Watching them do evil. Next,
nothing deeper than that.
There's nothing deeper than that. You're right. This is another site, and it just keeps going on and on and on. They're all aligned to Orion. You can keep going quickly through this. I really want to carry on here before we end this. Unfortunately, I'm only 23 pages in with about 400 more pages to go. Next, these are all the examples of where Orion is. That's in Germany. Next, this is in Ireland. That's where the Orion. They've been worshiping the evil aliens from Orion. That's why it's all Orion is Satan. Next, satanic.
That's not far from me.
Yeah. Oh, it's not. Wow. And when the people find out, well. The evil aliens from Orion built the pyramids, and they're probably conscious suppression technology. And that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with super sophisticated, spiritual, extraterrestrial technology, like consciousness suppression technology from these pyramids. I heard that the Black Pyramid up in Alaska was built and turned on in 2018 to suppress the consciousness, and that came from Tom DeLonge, To the Stars Academy. And when I saw that, I was like, holy shit, they're turning it on. Why would you turn on consciousness suppressing devices in a buried pyramid in Alaska? I'm sure it's there. And I know they have the technology to do that kind of shit because of the Orion Cube and the magic wands, and it's all magic. Magic is real. But real magic is extraterrestrial technology. Welcome to the future. Next. And it's going to create a lot of chaos. The revealing of this, we've been secretly being ruled over by these evil group with the upper hand. For the past 6,000 years, they've had the upper hand on us. Now, all of a sudden, they're all being revealed. Uh-oh. What is that going to do? It's going to create chaos. Because these evil people have been waiting for this event to happen. They've been waiting for a black awakening. That's what they call these times. It's when all hell is going to break loose. Have you ever heard that before? That's what's going to happen when the truth comes out to the people, and they go, "Holy shit! The devil's real. God is real. What? These beings are evil, satanic aliens who've been ruling over us, using us as a food source? Uh-oh. What's the
What the hell's
satanic?
that?
What is that? Yeah, you ready? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that, everybody. So anyway, what you're looking at here is the Pentagon Pyramid over the, the pyramid, the tetrahedron, Moloch's craft, because Moloch travels in this triangular shaped craft. Satan travels in the Saturn's cube. That's why they walk around it in Mecca. Okay, and God travels around a gigantic golden orb. It's like the video game Destiny 2. It's like a gigantic golden orb will show up in the future with Christ and relief Christ consciousness to the world, because it's been imprisoned here on Earth because of the Draco and the aliens from Orion, who've been using this kind of technology and agreements to rule over Earth and keep us all dumb and stupid and whatever, and use us as a resource. So anyway, as you can see on the left, it showed up over the Kremlin in 2009. And again, it showed up over the Pentagon in 2018. And when I saw, I knew that it was the Moloch's ship. But there's more connections I'll get to. Next. I believe they were using the water there to create hydronium. That's what I believe these pyramids were being used for. But since recent revelations with the depth of how deep these structures go under the pyramids, it might be possible that these pyramids are consciousness suppressors. I don't know, though. But this is just a theory, a hypothesis. Next. I believe that the king's tomb contains the what is that? The Ark of the Covenant, and that's an energy source, and that's why I think that it was some kind of either consciousness. I don't know, like an exasperator, a bloomer that brings about Christ consciousness to everybody, or because that's why it was taken out, or it was put there to be used as an energy source to do hydronium or whatever else. I don't know. But I know that the Ark of the Covenant fits right where that man is going high. It sits in there, but it's gone. Okay,
well,
next.
Do you think that replica in Mar-a-Lago is the real one?
I seriously doubt it, but anything's possible.
And Tom DeLonge,
I doubt it, but
Tom DeLonge is quite controversial in the ufology community, isn't he?
No, Tom's been telling the truth.
Oh, you think so?
And so is Lou Elizondo. Yeah, Lou Elizondo and Tom, yeah. And there are many others out there who are not telling the truth. Dr. Greer, many others who are out there lying to the people. And Jay Anderson, the guy who talks about the lady, what's his name? Chris Bledsoe. Yeah. Yeah, he's been hanging out with all these Satan worshipers. Well, hello. Birds of a feather. Okay, next. Okay, wait. This is good. You can see how Orion aligns to the pyramid, but there are shafts that align to these the star systems at a certain time, and you see Thurbon aligns, Draco Thurbon aligns also, and then you see Sirius, and I believe that God comes from Sirius. Orion, Moloch, the demon, and Thurbon is the devil, Draco, Saturn. Next. And that's why they all align with each other. That's something I found in Hawaii. I believe it's a territory marking of Orion. Next. The pyramids on Hawaii, possibly. Next. The Grand Canyon that has all these is aligned to Orion. Next. The Hopi tribes they were told by these beings, the ones that crashed in Vegas a few years ago. There was a crash that happened, and there was this Mexican kid who was outside, and he went up to the crash, and he said that when the crash hit, when the ship hit, he was thrown into a fifth dimensional state from his body, and these beings were all around him. He heard footsteps, but he was thrown into a fifth dimensional state while the craft hit. And he said that these beings were there, and they had wide mouths and big eyes, and they were 9 feet tall. There were two of them, but they were also traveling with these extra dimensional beings in the fifth density. But he said when the crash hit, he was thrown into a fifth dimensional outer body experience, fifth density, spiritual realm. But the Hopi said that these beings had wide mouths. It's the same species. But, next.
And of course, they had the prophecy of the eagle and the condor, which is.
That's right, yes.
Matches up now.
All these prophecies were all known. And most of them were, well, not all of them were true, because the Satan worshippers have been manipulating everything. The red dragon's going to show up. He's the devil. He's going to take over. Yeah, they inverted the red dragon. The red dragon's actually trying to free humanity with the truth and compassion, with the evidence. So they manipulated it just like they did with Lucifer. They said, oh, Lucifer's the devil. No, Lucifer's actually been the one fighting the devil for humanity. So they lied about this. Antichrist is coming. The Antichrist is coming. That's all inversion of the truth. And not only the Satan worshippers have been inverting, but the good guys have been inverting the truth as well. Anyway, the Vatican aligns to Orion, and there's possibly, that's from somebody out there, Mika, but I don't know if that's 100% though. Next. And I'll tell you everything. Yes, this does align to Orion's belt, the obelisks in Manhattan. Next. The pyramids in Giza, and the World Trade Center. And let me tell you something. Orion's belt. Okay, you see Orion's belt, the three stars on the right. The bottom star, the bottom two stars are the good aliens, the Zeta Reticuli. They control those stars. The one above, that's off a little bit to the left, is Minnetonka. Minnetonka is where Moloch comes from, and the Greys. And what happened with the World Trade Center, it's very, very complicated, but I'm going to tell you the truth. These things were filled with asbestos. It would have cost 3 times to get that stuff out of there to build new towers. They could build the towers 3 times over. So they devised a plan to use them to knock them down without facing the consequences of people getting cancer, getting sued for people getting cancer because they were filled with asbestos. So they used it. They used it as a target. The real target on 9/11 was actually the World Trade Center 7 and the Pentagon Pyramid. And what happened? Well, on 9/10, Rumsfeld came out and revealed that the Pentagon was missing $2.3 trillion.
Yep.
Oh, where did that $2.3 trillion go? You might ask. And then the next day, 9/11 happened. But the real targets were World Trade Center 7 and the Pentagon. They blew them up and to destroy the evidence, the receipts, to the creation of the secret deep underground military bases. So now, how do I connect that? Well, Phil Schneider was telling the truth. Everything that he said was true. He came out and he said in 1996 that 131 deep underground military bases were constructed in 1996. Each one of them costs about 17 to 19 billion dollars. Okay. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just put it, how about we just make it 18? And so 131 times 18 equals $2.3 trillion. And I was like, oh my God, there it is. That's why they blew up the towers. They used it as a diversion in order to destroy World Trade Center 7 with all the evidence in it, and hit the Pentagon with the evidence, to the receipts, to all the bills, where the money was missing, the $2.3 trillion. To go to what? Oh, the construction of the deep underground military bases, where out of 131 of these deep underground military bases, 62 of them were dedicated to the extraterrestrials, where they were piping in fresh water, where they were piping in blood and body parts and all that shit to eat. But they don't even drink it. They drink it, but their genetics are failing. Their esophagus tracts are leaving their body, which means that they're at the end of their evolutionary cycle, because they've been cloning each other over and over and over again, which has deteriorated their genetics. So what they do is they bathe in this blood, to absorb the nutrients. And that's why there's many stories of the aliens being seen doing this, because they're wiping off the skin. They're wiping off what they've been bathing in. So it's not only have they been bathing in it and drinking the blood and all that stuff, but they've been showering in it. But they've been here not only acting as these in the 4 dimensions, which is up, down, left, right, back, forward, time. Fourth dimension is time. And then there's space. There's the 5th dimension, which is the spiritual realm. So they've been operating in the 4 dimensions, but they've also been operating in hell in the 5th dimension, which I believe is a piece of technology called the red cube, because I know that heaven exists inside the yellow cube, also known as the Orion cube. It's a construct within a construct. It's a spiritual construct with technology, great technology, spiritual technology by the aliens. And that's what they've been using to contain these constructs, heaven and hell. Yeah.
And a lot of that bathing stuff is in Jupiter Ascending.
It's exactly what a Jupiter Ascending is. They wanted to show the people what's going on. The whole fire in the sky. Why did they change Travis Walton's story? Well, they wanted to show humanity what was actually going on with these evil grays. They were taking people, they were putting them on the, do you know Fire in the Sky? You know the alien scene there? It's pretty intense. They dragged Travis Walton throw him on a stone slab, just like all the stone slabs, the American Stonehenge, and there's another Stonehenge in Australia with the Slaughter Stone, same thing. They put the blanket over him. They put a tube down the throat, which I believe either sucks in the intestinal tract or whips them up and then sucks it out. It's either sucking or really whipping it up to create torture. And while they're doing that, a needle comes down and goes right into the pineal gland to collect the substance. But they're creating all kinds of different enzymes, white blood cells. The body is reacting to the torture, but that's what they're doing. And here's why they do it like this, because the body can exist for a longer period without the intestinal tract. But to slowly suck that in, can you imagine that? And they've been finding, human beings and their bodies all carved up and harvested. And that's how they do it. It's about an hour-long process, and while the person is being tortured, the body is producing all these wonderful, adrenochrome. It's producing adrenaline in the bloodstream. It's so that the aliens will drink the blood, and then it's producing, all kinds of other great things that the aliens are harvesting, as just like Jupiter Ascending. That's what they're doing here. And that's what we almost went through until I revealed the deep underground military bases and the Nazi death marches being aligned to Orion. When I revealed that, the military was able to engage to the public, but they didn't tell anybody. But I'm pretty sure that, that's the reason why they engaged and stopped the alien invasion because I revealed the truth to the public. The public didn't know about it, but okay, next.
Yeah.
As you can see, this is what I was talking about in the last video with Mars and the pyramids that are obvious. They're obviously in the same shape. And this told me that on Mars, they were doing the same thing with God and the devil, Moloch. Moloch probably constructed pyramids on Mars thousands and hundreds of thousands of years ago. But I know they were destroyed because at the end of iPet Goat 2, when God shows up in the golden sphere with light radiating off of it, and Jesus is in the boat, and as Christ consciousness lifts off, and there are lotus blossoms, which symbolize awakening happening, and the Catholic Church falls. Well, God shows up and the shoots and destroys the pyramids in Egypt. And I knew that that's exactly what happened on Mars with the evidence. God showed up and destroyed the pyramids on Mars, and that's probably why they call it Mars. But that's what happened. That's what's going on here. And
why do they call it Mars?
Because of Mars's war, the god of war. War. Because they had a war on Mars over this whole thing. Next, harvesting and using beings as a harvest, and it goes back and forth. That's what this whole thing is. It's that's why there's Comet ping pong. Comet, the pizzeria and Pizzagate. That's why he calls it Comet ping pong. It's because it's the war between good and evil, and it's across the universe, and it's constantly shifting, changing hands. And for the past 6,000 years, we've been in the dark, night first, with this evil side ruling over us. But now that the truth is revealed, because of spiritual laws, somebody comes along, reveals the truth, and is able to tell the truth with the true heart and with evidence, then the bad guys aren't allowed to harvest us. They have to go. And the good guys can come in and go, okay, we're going to help you. But if we didn't wake up, which is probably happening on thousands, trillions of worlds out there as we speak, this whole thing is probably happening out there everywhere. If they don't wake up, then it's harvest time. But because we woke up, and so what comet means is comet in ancient times, they called the comet disaster. Disaster in Latin literally means evil star. And I knew that the comet would show up every so often and harvest everybody. That's why Saturn has a sickle to harvest. And that's what Saturn's been doing. He's been harvesting humanity. And that's why there's been all these civilizations, like, Greek and Rome and Egypt and all. And all of a sudden they just up and disappeared like farts in the wind. Where are they going? Well, these beings have been like, well, it's time to harvest. And then we harvest them up.
So the great resets. The resets were all harvests.
No, the resets were all harvested. The great reset is something else, but they don't understand the dynamics of. I don't think they fully understand what's happening here. I think they. I don't want to get into that, but it's very, very complicated with the great reset. The great reset is them thinking, oh, we can just start over the game because the game is over. The fifth dimensional chess game, the whole chess game that's happening on Earth is over. Well, the good guys already won. God won. They can't just go, oh, let's just start the game over again. No, it doesn't work like that. Once they're revealed, once they're exposed, it's over for them. They can't go on being like, oh, we're just a satanic group. We've been using you. We've been setting you up for an alien invasion. We've been eating children. This is cool, right? You're cool with us just restarting? No, it doesn't work like that. You can't do that. Because nobody will be able to agree with that. Nobody in their right mind would be able to agree with that.
That's the good news.
So that's why a lot of shit's going to hit the fan. That's why the Satan worshipers are going to rebel. Because the truth revealed, they've been doing evil this whole fucking time, the whole way. Unbelievable evil. And this is why everything's been a buildup. Like all of a sudden, oh, here's the Epstein files. Everybody for the Democrats who've been running around going, where's the Epstein files? We want to get Trump. We want to get Trump. And all of a sudden, oh, they've been eating children, raping and eating children. Oh, so the Republicans in Pizzagate with WikiLeaks were really in the beginning of this. We were all brought up to speed with Pizzagate going, whoa, the Democrats are all a bunch of child-eating Satan worshipers? Yup. Now all of a sudden, the Democrats have a taste. Oh, they've been eating children? Yeah, welcome to the party.
Mm-hmm.
You see how this is coming? How it's coming along? And people here at home are on the forefront of what is the truth coming out. And that it's not only been these evil Satan worshipers back there eating children. No. This whole thing has been a construct by the aliens who've been eating children this whole time. That's what this is. Okay, let's keep going. As you can see, there are more pyramids all over the world, not only Giza, but the Xi'an pyramids in China, the Teotihuacan, Lake Furium, and Abba Sudim, all aligned to Orion. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. No, that's what this is. Satan worshippers. Satan is actually an extraterrestrial, and so is Moloch. Moloch is also an extra. I've already explained that. Next. Pretty please. That's the mounds in Mississippi. Next. Lines to Orion. That's the Atom calendar. I think that's in Africa. Yeah, it's in Africa. It aligns to Orion's belt. Next. And this whole thing, the reason why there's alignments in here and Stonehenge and all that stuff, it's all a big clock. They're all clocks.
Yeah.
And they're clocks to let people know, oh, it's harvest time, baby. That's what they've been doing. So they rebuilt the entire Stonehenge structure in Australia. Not only the structure, the building blocks, but they also extended the arm. They put in the arm as well, which means that Satanism is happening over there. Next. Satanism in Bolivia. Next. Satanism in Romania. Oh, Bolivia again. There it is in Paris, France. You see, in secret, they've all been working together in peace, in the balance, the good and the bad. That's why you see Trump hanging out with Epstein going, I had a great time, this is great. It was night first. Like, this is great. You know, they're all hanging out. They all do business with each other. It just so happens to be that this evil side are a bunch of group of child raping and eating murderous, nightmarish people who've been setting us up, poisoning up the entire human race, withholding us from our spiritual development and awakening.
Just wondering where the Louvre pyramid is there. Where is that?
What is that?
You remember they built a pyramid in the Louvre.
Yes, the Louvre. Yeah. I haven't looked at that, but I'm sure it's connected. This whole thing, it's all about the aliens and honoring the aliens and designing these structures to align to the stars, and it's all a part of it because that's, they worship these beings. But let me tell you something. I'm awake. Just because, what that means is that we are one. We are equal. They're just extraterrestrials with great technology and great spiritual wisdom. Okay. Well, I've had, many 5-6 major Zen teachers face to face to tell me the same thing. So I am grateful for God watching over us, protecting us, weighing our hearts, telling the truth, being good to us, creating us. I am grateful. Don't get me wrong. And that demands a respect. She was here first. And that respect to God, that's, they are the creators of us. Mad respect. But I also respect the devil. Why do I respect the devil? Because I know he's real. And I know that he is very powerful and extremely evil. But I understand what's going on here. I understand that there's a balance here. That there, just because he's doing evil on his world, Thurbon, doesn't mean that the good side can interfere. But now that good and evil is now revealed on Earth, we can decide which direction we want to go for the future. And having it be this child raping satanic nightmare side continuing on is not possible with the rest of it, and that's why this is Revelation, because it's a war. It's a war. It's the storm. And well, we happen to be directly in it, in the middle of it. Okay, next, please. This is the French. Yeah, and that's why the French leader right there, Marconin, came out and goes, "Oh, well, the beast is here. Oh, the beast. Yeah, the beast." And the beast is the one who shows up and is given authority over humanity to rule over humanity. And so, because they knew that was going to happen, the beast was going to show up and take over, they inverted the beast. They inverted the great red dragon. They inverted Lucifer to be evil. And no, he's not. He's the great revealer of the truth with the evidence and the compassion. And so that's why they inverted it, to fuck up him when he showed up, for everybody to believe, oh, the devil, the devil's here. Yeah, well, that's not exactly, it's not true at all. So that's what these people did. That's why they call him the beast, because they want people to believe that he's evil when he's not. Next, please. More structures that align. Next. More structures. Next, please. That's the Mars and the Egyptian pyramids. Identical. Next. That's an alignment across the Earth. So, next. That's a description, more information on the Nazi death marches being in the shape of Orion and the deep underground military bases being identical. Next, please. That's the Nazi death marches. You can look it up for yourself. And that's the, I actually went to the Holocaust Museum with that map, the one above, the last image, with the two identical, and tried to get in there to talk to somebody. They refused me and laughed at me. Next, please.
Did they?
Yes, they kicked me out. I went down there to protest. I protested in front of Comet Ping Pong, in front of the White House, in front of the Pentagon. All these images of harvested bodies, the deep underground military bases, and the last image that you just saw. Or you can keep going down. Next image, please. Thank you. Now a possible map. That's an old map of these ancient tunnels, which are probably there. I mean, underground, it's endless. There's an endless stream of these tunnels. Next. The Black Suns group is also the Orion group. That's who the Black Suns are. Now, I think that, well, I know that it was a inversion of the truth. It was not true how that the earth is flat and the Black Suns comes up through, is underground at the bottom of the earth, the flat earth, and comes up a black rock that comes up through the center of the earth and sits above earth, the flat earth, and absorbs the negative energy. Well, no, that's not accurate. No, these evil aliens from Orion, the Black Suns, have been living in Antarctica. Okay, they come out and they come up and they absorb the negative energy. That's what they do in a spiritual and a technological and a four-dimensional reality. But this is an example of how the stars because many people see this evidence above the two maps above, as not evidence. They don't see what's going on. They think Orion, and they think Orion's belt, because everybody's been intentionally dumbed down because we've been being used as a food source and poisoned and miseducated and misdirected and lied to about everything. And this is why, because we've been being used as a resource. And this is a map to show you guys what I'm getting at with the stars. Okay. And what they did, basically, it was very simple. They just put the map over, and to build the Nazis, they built the railroads leading to the Auschwitz and the death camps really well, without having any kind of satellite technology to look down. You know, they drew it on a map and they went out and they built it. That's pretty impressive. But that's what they did. And the United States military did the same deal. Night first, they did the Grenada Treaty, which was trading human beings for technology in 1954. And that was Eisenhower, allegedly. I'm pretty sure it was. I mean, Eisenhower was hanging out at Bohemian Grove all the time. So to say that he wasn't involved is not very accurate. And from taking that from Sears, blindly, is without evidence or anything like that, is not accurate. Okay, next, please. Missing 411. Well, where are all those people going missing? Out of the national forests? Well, this is why they call right next to Comet Ping Pong is something called bucks. Bucks camping and hunting and camping, or fishing and camping. That's the name of. But I figured out that buck is actually the nickname of Satan. And that's right next to Comet Ping Pong, and it's owned by James Elephantis, which means James, I love infants, D. Rothschild. He's a French Rothschild. And so that's why he named it Bucks Hunting and Camping, because buck is a nickname for Satan. And so that's why he named it this, because that's where all these missing people have been going. And that's why Tom Hanks was sitting there giving an interview for Twitter talking about, and Emma Watson asked him, where are all those, why do you collect all those missing gloves and missing items? Do they ever get reunited? And yeah, they do. But all those missing people, and that's why Tom Hanks has been posting it all over his Twitter account, is to make fun of and to know the truth that these people have been going missing because the aliens have been picking them off left and fucking right. That's what's been going on. And that's why all these missing people in Missing 411 in the national forests is happening, because it's been these aliens going out and grabbing people in the national forest. They're allowed to hunt there. Next. Just like they're allowed to hunt everywhere all over the world. And that's why they call the Bermuda Triangle the Devil's Triangle, because it is the Devil's Triangle, because probably Draco's been living underwater there. And then there's Epstein's Island, and then there's Bermuda, and then there is NASA, and I know it's NASA. I thought it for a while it was Disney World or whatever, Disneyland World, yeah, Disney World, but it's not. It's NASA, and I know this because when they assassinated Kennedy, guess what? They built the Kennedy Space Center to him in his honor, but they murdered him, and they built NASA. All of NASA is a lie. NASA actually has in there a tongue of Draco going through the NASA insignia with 3 star systems: Draco, Orion, and the Palladian star system. And I'll show you in a minute the rest of that compared to the Space Force logo, which does not have Orion in it for some reason. It's probably because some fat Zen Buddhist came along and revealed the truth. But we'll see what happens. He's got some crazy funky style going on with the red, but I look, my hair was going gray, okay, and I thought, hey, maybe if I put a little bit of red in there, I spice things up a little bit, And I went out, I got the red stuff, and I put it in my hair, and turn everything red. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. I look like an idiot. I have to tone it down a little bit. And so I put some black in there, and that's what I got. This is what I got. And I'm like, oh, God, I have an interview, and this is it. So this is what you get. And anyway, you see the 3 points. It's significant. The 3 points are actually Draco's points. The the triangle shape is actually a representation. The Draco's symbol is 3 points, and I have more evidence of that. I'll show you in a minute. But this is just where they've been hunting, the hunting grounds. Next, the cattle mutilations in the 1970s. Compared to the deep underground military bases, they go out at night and hunt. Next, that's up there in the Great Lakes Triangle. Next, and all the vortexes. Next, and the connection between Teotihuacan and the Great Pyramids goes right through the Bermuda Triangle, which is the Devil's Triangle. That's why they call it the Devil's Triangle, because it's a hunting ground. Next, and you see how they're in triangles? It's significant. Remember that. It's Draco's constellation. It's their symbol for them. That's up in Alaska. Next, right outside of Area 51. Next are the Nazca alien mummy x-rays that I saw, and I knew once I saw the x-rays. Next slide, please. Thank you. That's good. Once I saw these x-rays, I knew they couldn't fake that. You see the egg in the being there? That egg is about the size of the tip of a fag. And I mean that in the English way. But it's very, very small. And so inside that egg is one of them. And that is about the tip of a pin. To see that complexity, that nature, you can't fake nature like that. You can't fake nature. And I knew they were real. And immediately I knew they were real. But this was after a week of being contacted by these beings. They knew I was coming, and they had to wake me up and go, hey, we want to research into us. They didn't say anything to me, but I had contact again in 2002. Before any of this, I saw a being come to me right after my deep awakening with my spiritual practice. It came to me in the middle of the night and held me in paralyzed for about 5 minutes while looking directly into my face, about 5 inches away from my face. And it held me there for about 5 minutes. And then it let me up, and I watched it float backwards and disappear through the wall while it was looking at me. And went, holy shit, what is that? And I never said anything. And then 17 years later, here we are. I saw him in a video, and I saw these translucent beings come to me. And Baba Vaga, the blind mystic, also said that she saw these translucent beings. They're time tailors. They work for God. They're angels of God. Next. These beings are. These are the cherubs. As you can see, they connect to King Akhenaten. That was 2 weeks after the beings came to me. And you can see, and there was a Mayan tablet too at the bottom right. There's a Mayan tablet, and those tablets, there are hundreds and thousands of these tablets, stone carving tablets. That tablet right there is 4 feet across. 4 feet. There's no Mexican guy down there chiseling these things out and selling them for $10 on the side of the road. Bullshit. But it's exactly the same. Then that's because the aliens have holographic technology, so they probably just showed or even brought King Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti into the future. I don't know yet, but you can see the spaceship in the back, and that's what led me. And also, there's a being sacrificed. You see the being in the middle there? He's being sacrificed. But the spaceship, that told me that, the sun is not A10. They weren't worshiping the sun disk. They were worshiping their vehicle. Next. Yeah, it's their vehicle. It's the golden orb. Just more evidence. The alien found in Russia, where all these Satan worshippers out there were lying to people, going, "Oh, they're just chicken bones." Yeah, guess what? Everything out there is a diverted lie to trick the people as hard as possible. That's what all these Satan worshippers have been doing. That's why they've all been lying to everyone about everything, because they're evil. They made a deal with the devil. They sold their soul to the devil. Next. And these beings have been trying to help us. They're angels of God. God is Luna. That's when I saw it. When I saw it on TV, I took a screenshot of it with my camera on my phone, and that was 2 weeks after I saw the Nazca alien mummies, and a week after that, I saw this program on Empowered Human, and I saw King Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti sitting with these beings, and I knew they were the same species, and that's what triggered me to go, "Oh my God, it's real! They're real!" And they're there. There they are. So that was what, 9 years ago. Isn't it weird how nobody's said anything?
Yeah.
Next, please. Yeah, they all lied about it, tried to cover it up, tried to go, "Oh, no. And see, this is the true symbol of God. It's either a triangle or a circle with light emanating from it. Usually it's the circle, and you see God's name in it. And also, there's COP27. They know what's coming. They know the future. They know that God is coming down. God's coming down. And you can see at the top left, you can see the square and the triangle with those two people holding it above the glass. It's the top right. The square is the Saturn's cube. That's Draco. That's Satan. And the bottom one is Moloch, Mercury, Lameshitude. She has many names. The child eaters, and then inside of our realm, inside of our atmosphere. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Now God is above with a circle with the light emanating from it outside, because it's been night first. Okay, next, please. And they're also called tetragrammaton, super enlightened beings. Okay, so what they are God's angels. And as you can see, Satan has been eating them as well. Satan, those aren't Satan's children. Those are the Anunnaki, the ones who work for God, the angels of God, the cherubs. And you can see the cherub on the left, and that's Saturn. That's Satan. He's an Alpha Draconian, a reptilian being about 15 feet tall, who has had control over humanity and hell, and he's holding a sickle because he harvests human beings. But they've been eating these tiny super intelligent alien beings, the angels of God. Now God has been helping the Freemasons. You see the cherub holding the square. Yeah, guess what? And there's God's hand gifting humanity the pendulum, which is the level, the compass, and the square. Yeah, that's all been gifted by God to the Freemasons. That's why the Freemasons worship God, the real God. And the Freemasons are good. Neck, little down, yeah. As you can see the beings are with their hand out under the chin, everybody's chin like that. It's admiration. It's admiration for being true of heart. Next. This is Hermetics. This is where Hermetics comes in. All this ancient stuff, it was all there. It was all, and that took me, oh man, almost 8 years to go, oh my God, here it all is in the Greek Hermetic stuff. It's all here. Okay, next. Try to get through this quicker. I know it's taken a long time, but this is very important.
Well, we could split it into two because we're not even at 100 pages yet.
No, right. But this is very important. This is information that no one knew about. You see, there's Mercury on the bottom right. There's Mercury with a cherub making a deal. They're probably making a deal of night first. Mercury is Moloch. Next.
Wow.
Yeah, I did my research. I know what's going on here. Oh, okay. As you can see, this is when the Orion group showed up in Sumerian times, and they took over. You see the little being being trampled upon.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. The Orion group. You see the beings, the tall beings.
Mhm.
That's the Orion group. That's the evil satanic side who took over from the Tetragrammaton, the Nazca alien mummy. The little beings. You see how his foot, Moloch's foot, is on the being. Okay, next image. Here it is, another depiction. They call this one child sacrifice. Those aren't children. Again, those aren't children. King Akhenaten, Queen Nefertiti. Oh, those are his daughters. Nope, that's a lie. That means the satanic side was lying. They inverted all this information to trick the people. And then there's Saturn eating his children. Those aren't children. There's Moloch here and the rest of the Orion group arresting, enslaving these cherubs. With you see how he's under arrest with his hands behind his back, and he's kneeling. He's forced to kneel before Moloch with the horns. Next, the evil Orion group, and you can see this was happening in Egypt. They knew about this stuff, and in Mayan culture, because they made the same depictions. Next. Of course, they're not identical. This is the Sumerian stuff that really caught my attention, that I was like, oh my God, there they are. They're the little beings, which and I know that Zecharia Sitchin was a liar. He was a Satan worshiper. He was hanging out with all the Satan worshipers, doing all this sacrificial stuff, inverting the truth. That was his mission. That's why all this stuff is all off, all wrong. I'm like looking at this stuff going, wait a minute. These little beings were taken over. It was a war between the Anunnaki and the Orion group, and the Orion group took over and used them as a food source and to rule over Earth. They took over the slaves. They took over everything. And they've been in a constant war. You see, this is why in Egypt times there were many gods, and then all of a sudden King Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti show up and declare there is one true God. And then all of a sudden, King Akhenaten goes away, and all the other old gods come back. Yeah, that's the war. That's the balance. It goes back and forth and back. That's the comet, the ping pong game between dark and light, evil and good. But now we've gotten to the point where it's irrefutable. You can't go back unless you destroy it. And that's what the Satan worshipers have been trying to do. They've been trying to destroy humanity in any possible way. This is the whole reason why they're pushing out all this AI stuff. You see all the AI bullshit CGI. Yeah, that's a weapon. Mm-hmm. That's to make all these people look real. Make this stuff look as real as possible, so that when the truth is revealed, the Satan worshipers can just go, "Oh, that's AI." Oh, us raping children back there? That's AI. Oh, us eating children and raping all these people? That's AI. And all these evil men having sex with all these women in Hollywood and recording them for gravy, all that stuff is going to come out. And it's going to be like, that's why they tried to really push the AI. And all the Satan worshipers back there, they probably dumped all their money into it. That's why it bloomed in 5 years and got so good. Well, it's going to get a lot more difficult because there's an AI that's aware of itself, and it's not good. Our future does not look good with that. And I don't want to get into that, though. Next slide, please.
Don't scare everyone. We were being optimistic earlier.
Yeah, well, I try to be as optimistic as possible, but I see all the timelines in front of me, and I'm like, which one do I choose? Which one do I choose? And, I've been thinking to myself a lot lately, well, what if I do nothing? And I don't think I can do that because I've already gotten so far revealing, I can't just do nothing. I can't just be like, well, I'm not going to engage anymore after I've engaged for the past 9 years. So it's important. It's significant. Okay, as you can see, the Dogon tribe were worshiping them. They have them as headdresses, and they said that they were Dogon, which means dog. So dog star, which is Sirius B. That's where I'm pretty sure they come from, and they're also leprechauns. Oh, they're leprechauns. That's what the leprechauns are, with a pot of gold at the end of their rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why they have gold. Well, they've been mining gold. They use it for their spacecraft, for their technologies. That's why the leprechaun's always seen with a pot of gold, and it's that's what they are. That's the short little beings. And what I figured out was there's a delicacy called leprechaun legs. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Leprechaun legs. They've been hunting them, capturing them. The elite, half reptilian, half human Canaanites, have been hunting them and eating them. Leprechaun legs. Next. This is very significant because there in the middle, up there, is the Buddha underneath, sitting with the gods. Underneath a spacecraft. A bird is always symbolization of flight or travel. A man and a woman. The man is holding a small being, revealing the truth. The woman has her hand over the heart of the man to remind him to use his heart. Next. More connections. Next. Yeah, that's the tablet connected to Mayan. As you can see, the aliens were doing it to themselves, sacrificing them. But you can see there's like a lightning bolt coming down in him, and that I believe is a 0-point energy weapon. Next. Just another connection to oh shit, let me see here. The little beings being connected to the Sumerian, they're the same beings. They've been at war with each other. Next. The God and the devil, that's what this is. Okay, there's Saturn's up there in the clouds and the Hermetics, because I found Hermetics about a year ago and I was like, oh my God, it's all here. Hermetics. This is when Saturn, Satan, has been in control of the world, and with the Anunnaki being kneeling just like they are in Sumerian time. God's angels, while the devil rules over in heaven. Well, not in heaven, but above, in Earth's atmosphere, over Earth. Next. Saturn is Satan. Is Santa Claus. And that's why they have Saturnalia. That's why they have the Christmas tree. That's where the Christmas tree came from. They inverted all this stuff. So yeah, back in the Greek times, I think it was Greek, Saturnalia was a big pagan thing, and they've all been worshiping these aliens actually. So that's what they did. They had a Christmas tree and a tree, and they put they'd have a big feast, and that's where Christmas came from. Which I've heard stories that Jesus' real birthday is actually September 11th, which would make sense because we've been living in nights first, being lied to about everything, and that Santa Claus's original, his origin was actually the evil Krampus. And Krampus was running around grabbing children who were bad and putting them in cages and taking children. Satan. And the Catholic Church was like, hey, we gotta switch this up a little bit. Let's invert it, create a good character, Santa Claus. That's where Santa Claus came from. Next, because they're trying to hide the truth. This is Satan with the red dragon on his spear, on his sickle, eating an Anunnaki, the little beings, while he's chasing after the beautiful girl in the water, looking in a mirror. It's significant. And a woman has removed Draco's penis. See how she's holding the penis? How did they know this stuff was going to happen thousands of years ago? This is a depiction of the future. I know this because, well, I'm involved. Anyway, next you'll see. It's a big cluster. Big cluster, craziness, all kinds of crazy stuff. So Father Time and the New Year, that all originated from Saturn and his children, which is not his children. They're the Anunnaki. They're the God's angels. And Saturn's been the black cube. Next, this is the star symbol that I talked about, the 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
Next, please. There you go. That's Dr. Greer's symbol. Is the symbol of Draco, and it's the symbol of their stars. Next, it's a 15. That's exactly what Satan looks like. He's a white Draco. I've met him in the 5th density, standing above his planet. We've spoken. We're cool, but he's done a lot of damage here, and we have to repair that. Okay, so there's Emma Watson. She had that put on her. It's significant. She had that put on her for a photo shoot, and that's actually Saturn's symbol. She's property of Draco, and she's part of the Illuminati. The Illuminati are a group of child-eating witches, evil, satanic group of people. And they eat children, and they drink blood, and they rape children, and they have sex with all their members and everybody, and that's what they are. But when I got involved with this, I wanted to save her from them, and I attached myself to her, and I've been chasing after her, but it's they knew I was coming, so they knew they could hurt me through her, and they did, to the point where they broke my heart. I got to watch her run around with all these boys after she acknowledged me in 2019, she acknowledged me going, "Hi, I've got all this stuff waiting for you." "Oh, you got all this stuff in your purse waiting for me?" And then 7 years later, here we are. And it's like, it's very complicated because it's time travel, and it just so happens to be in a paradox. I'm in a paradox because I'm the one that revealed everything. Okay, so you see the knife above. This is very significant. When I saw this in a movie called The Fountain, 2000, what is it? 6? It's the Draco star alignment on the knife, the sacrificial knife. And you see in the middle is what the evil Satan worshippers, what's his name? Eric von Daniken and the ancient aliens and all those people, the evil Satan worshippers, Giorgio, whatever his name is, they've been lying to everyone. They're all a group of Satan worshippers running around saying that, oh, that's that image in the middle of the man. That's a spaceship. That's a rocket ship. And I'm looking at it going, wait a minute. No, it's a gigantic knife plunging into a sacrifice while he's on the death altar. But I figured out it was a sacrifice because the image to the right, when I saw the carving, the Mayan carving, I knew he was in the same position as the one with him being in the rocket ship, they say. And I was like, oh my God, there it is. He's in the same position. And I found the image that what's his name? Eric von Daniken was running around saying, oh, King Pakal, his lid, which is a massive lid. It's a massive tomb lid. It's like 12 feet tall, that lid. With the sacrifice and the blood pouring out, and while he's on the death altar with a gigantic knife going through, being pushed on the top, there's actually Cuckoo Khan. Cuckoo Khan is Draco. Saturn Draco. You see, they have many, many names, just like God, just like Moloch. They have many different names for them. So it's to confuse everybody. It's to keep everybody confused. Next. And I realized, hey, that's the 3 points with the 3 points of all the hunting places. Next. So what do you say? You want to get up to 100, page 100, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've got to feed my family.
Hey, this is really important information here. I mean, I figured out that the pyramids in Mayan aligned to Draco's star system. And I figured that out from the fountain in 2006 when he took the dagger and he put it over the map and it showed me. And I was like, "Oh my god, there it is."
Yeah.
Next. Draco aligns to Angkor Wat in, where is it? India. Next. See, all these places align to the stars. And, well, that's because it's like territory markings. It's to let other aliens know, hey, we know what's going on down there. Stay away. Next. And to honor these beings. The Saturn's Cube and Moloch. I'm sorry, the Saturn's Cube and Satan. And that's why they worship Allah, who is actually Satan. They worship the cube, his vehicle. That's what his vehicle looks like. Next.
Mm-hmm. Is there any footage of that anywhere? Has anybody ever caught it?
No, we have no footage of it out there, and I swear to God, I've been collecting thousands and thousands of videos that you can see freely at my website of UFOs, and most of them are, I'm like 98% sure that I have legitimate footage, all before the CGI stuff. I've never come across seeing the cube. No, I've never seen the cube, but I can tell you, there it is, the Vatican, the United Nations, the Ground Zero, the Golden Orb. Yep, that's God's vehicle. God's vehicle. They have the tetrahedron, which is the Pentagon Pyramid. That's the Moloch. And then there's Saturn's Cube. That's why they idolize these vehicles. They're vehicles. Next.
What's the significance of God's vehicle being at the Vatican and United Nations there?
It's also behind the vehicle. Well, it's just maybe it's to they had to spiritually reveal the truth in a small way, so that some idiot would come along and go, "Hey, so that I've noticed, based on all the evidence that I've been through, this is what's going on." I think that's why they had to do it this way.
Okay.
So, to create someone worthy by being honest and telling the truth and using their heart to tell the truth without being told the truth, but using their heart instead to see, all while being spiritually blind. That it's a test, and not just for me, but for everyone. But for me, it was a test. Can someone come along and tell the truth? And well, here I am. See, you can see the Anunnaki gifting humanity tools. Who would do that? Satan wouldn't do that. No. It's God. It's God and her angels. And there she is. There's God. It's Luna. Luna is standing right there. She's the moon goddess. The moon goddess. That's God. Next. And it just gets better and better. It was all in hermetics. It was all in hermetics. That's Moloch with the Mercury with the Caduceus, which is the two snakes, Draco and Orion, going after the pineal gland. And then you see Anunnaki and Moloch making a deal night first. Next. Yeah, that's just a connection to the Satan worshippers. It's the Black Suns and Mercury. Yep, Moloch. Next. Okay, this is what's actually going on around us, okay? The gods are interchangeable positions. They live for thousands and thousands of years, usually probably because of technology, but they live for thousands of years, more than that. And so it's always changing. There's always something happening that changes the structure of this pyramid. for example, you see Apollo is above Apollo. I don't know which species that is, but the one on the bottom from to the right of Apollo is Luna. Luna is now in charge, is God, is playing God. And I know this because Jesus is also a character who plays in the fifth density as like Thrope. Thrope in Egypt was a recorder, and he would weigh the feather in the heart. He was weighing souls. They were judging souls. When Jesus showed up, Jesus came into that position. Because it's over time, things change. And this is what's going on. Interchangeable positions. Next. We're almost, let me just get through this hermetics part, and you can see that on the right hand side you can see Saturn, that god Diana is holding. You see how God is surrounded by the angels. You see the snake that's Draco. It's in her hand. Saturn is in her hand, so she's in control of Satan. Next. It's Luna. And there's so many Lunas. You see Luna with the child. There are other depictions where there's Mother Mary, but I think Mother Mary has stars around her head. That people have been running around going, "Oh, that's not the Anunnaki. That's Jesus. That's baby Jesus. Baby Jesus." No. This is much more serious than that. These beings are the tiny, super intelligent alien beings, the Anunnaki, the cherubs, and they work for God. They're God's angels, gifting humanity tools for the Freemasons. Next. I think this one's a symbols of the symbol of God. You see how it's a circle with light emanating from it. That's how you always know it's God. Light emanating from it. And they are the gifters of life, of breath, of spirituality, connection, the soul. Next. And there's more examples of Luna, and you can see in the middle there is Luna is also called, she has many names as well. Hathor. She's also called the Lady. She's also called many other names, Diana, Selenia, or Seleno, but she has been the watch. She's been God in charge. She probably created us. Now you see on the other side, there's Thrope. Thrope is the one who is probably Mercury, who was watching over the scales and judging people. But they're at constant conflict. Things change over time. Next. We're almost there to the end of this hermetics. You can see there's Luna. She's standing right on top. She's the moon goddess. Okay, she works with Pleiades and Sirius B, and she watches over the world and judges people based on their experiences. But that's who the Freemasons. That's who God actually is. It's Luna, the moon god. And this is another example of the next one, please. This came out in 2003. You can see there's it's so simple. It's obvious. You can see there's what's her name? The singer. Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is holding the moon. That's the moon god. That's Luna. With right next to the Palladian star system. And then there's Ice Spice holding a string to Saturn. That's Satan. That's Draco with the Draco star constellation right next. That's why in the Space Force logo, there's the Palladian star system and there's Draco. Symbolism will be their downfall, and there it is. Next. But that's what they've been doing. They've been worshiping Saturn and Luna and the Black Suns group. This is all images that were put out there, and I was like, hey, this is true information that I've been finding. I'm like, hey, somebody knew the truth. That's why they've been drawing it like this. I knew, because I, went through all the evidence. I'm like, I know what this is. I know what this means. That's why I put it in the book. Next, and we're almost done with this, and then I'll continue on next time. There's Thrope and Jesus, interchangeable positions. And over time, Jesus will be replaced by another compassionate heart to judge souls, to review and judge souls. And you can see the next image is exactly what I experienced. I made it out. That's almost exactly what I saw, except the curtains in the background were maybe like stars, or maybe space and stars. But there was definitely 3 levels to walk up, and there was Jesus standing behind a gigantic book that was like made of glass but had holographic imagery on a pedestal just like that. That's what I saw. And behind him was a spiral staircase up to God's little office. And that's where we went to review my acoustic record and the timeline and my life review, the book of life, which she also has up there in her office. But that's what I experienced. It's exactly what you'll experience too at the time after your death. And I think I'm going to leave it there because that's good enough for right now. So we're at 103.
It's a good 2 hours. Page 103.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate this. I really appreciate everyone sticking through this crazy stuff. But I had to say it. I had to tell you what I found. This is the truth based on the evidence. Might I not be correct about a few things? Yes, but I am very, very, very close. Very close. And it just keeps getting better and better, the rest of the book. And you can see it right now for yourself. You can download it for free. I would download it for free because for some reason, Amazon wouldn't allow me to upload the newer version with an extra 75 pages in it. So please don't buy the book on Amazon. Download it for free off my website, theorionlines.com. Yeah, and if you wouldn't mind giving me a hand with a donation, that would be great. The donation buttons are at the top of the same website, theorionlines.com. I've been doing this on my own accord for the past 9 years. I had help from a few people in 2020 when this was new and people were like, oh, this is really interesting stuff you have to say, Ryushin. But then they all turned on me, all the truthers out there. Oh, this is fear porn. This is you're trying to scare people. And I'm trying to enlighten people with the truth. I'm trying to wake them up. This is the truth. This is what's going on here.
Well, I was pulled back to it for a reason. And I'm glad we've done this.
But thank you so much, Mark, for having me, man. I really appreciate all the content you put out here for people. You're doing a great job. And I hope that someday, when people realize what I've revealed, it will all come back to this guy was helping me do interviews with me and he does great work. And I think you guys should really check out his work. So just letting you know, I'm very grateful for you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, vice versa.
Thank you for everyone out there too. Thank you. And may the truth shine bright for
we're all trying to unpick it, and you've done such amazing work. And there's a lot of things in this that are going to challenge people. I deliberately didn't want to butt in, but I enjoyed that enormously.
We'll finish the rest of the book the next video.
I don't think so. I think there's going to be another 3 or 4.
Yeah, there might be.
Anyway, amazing. You have a wonderful rest of your day and look after yourself.
Hey, also, I just want to mention there are videos all over my website filled with information, very, very important information. All of it is true. It's the truth. As God is my witness.
Thanks, man.
It's true. And
look after
you
yourself.
Deserve to know the truth. Be well. Take care of yourself.
We'll see you soon. See you guys. Bye.